You come from a medium-sized city and you've just finished uni. You just moved to a big city, the big corporate city. You don't know anyone here. It's a clean slate. Yes, it's an opportunity to reinvent yourself and all of that, but honestly, what you're most concerned with is building your social circle. You understand how miserable it can be being lonely, and you understand how building your social circle can drastically improve your quality of life and just the direction you feel like you have in your life. Now, that might not be precisely your story, but if you find yourself in a similar position, I'm going to share with you the lessons I've learned taking myself from that position at the start of the year to actually building the foundations of my social circle within about 5 months. Now, the first thing you need to do is identify your potential sources of social activity. Now, just sit down and list, think about where could you go to meet like-minded people. Now, for me, the first three that I had thought of were gym, work, and church, right? Those were my three ones, and I also listed other things like, oh, you can go to you can go sign up for a biking club, a running club, whatever it is. Those kind of things. If the well is running dry, you can always add those things. Those are just some ideas. I know for other people who are into like combat sports, joining like a martial arts class or whatever is definitely an opportunity. But either way, just sit down and think where would the like-minded people that you're looking for be, and what could you do to get yourself in those circles, right? That's step one, identifying the potential sources of social activity. Now, the next step you need to do is actually rate these things in terms of quality, right? Like, where's the quality coming from in terms of where am I going to be most likely to find the people I'm looking for? Now, at the start, this might be quite difficult. You might understand it over time, but I'm going to explain to you how I've sort of rated my three potential sources of social activity that I listed early on in the year. Right, I quickly identified, well, work is definitely one place because you're going to be there all the time. You're going to meet so many people. You're in a big city. There are lots of people like you. You'll find like some people there. Gym, again, very similar thing. You're going to gym. There's going to be like-minded people there. And then for me, I had church as well. Right? Church is an incredible place. But like, again, you have to sort through that. Like, you actually have to go out and do it. And I think this is where like a video like this is helpful in helping you understand the nuances and the nuances and the intricacies that are found in actually trying to create the friend groups, right? Going to these places. So for me, when I first started, I was like, okay, work is very clearly like, that's a good place. Like, it's a lot of people, right? Who are also like-minded and driven like me. And it'll be the best place to meet like your best friends, right? Because you're at work. Like, what better place? But for me, I quickly realized that like at work, in terms of quality, it wasn't everything I'd hoped for, right? Because there's so many people, and because we're always like going to clients and all of that, you're not seeing many people that often. But either way, it's just you're at work. Like, a lot of people are looking to connect, and it does take time. That's one thing I've definitely learned about building friend groups, right? As I said, I've built the foundations for my friend groups, but in terms of like building those really deep connections, it takes time, and like building rapport and being consistent with those people, right? And that's one thing I've learned in work. Like, they're friends you'll make there, but it's very similar to school and university, where it's like they're friends. Most of the friends you'll make will be proximity friends, right? They're friends that, oh, you see them at work, it's like, hi, like, oh, yeah, that's awesome, oh, what's been happening with you and everything. But the moment you leave, it's very rare for you to find, well, it's been very rare for me. Maybe you might have a different experience. And that's why I'm just sharing this, so you can sort of just understand like like I said, the nuances and the intricacies. But you need to actually go out there and do it and see what it's like for you, right? So for me, work, I found it was okay. Like, there's a lot of people, there are some like-minded people, and if you keep pushing, like, you'll make friends, right? I've made friends, but again, it's like friends, proximity friends. But I would put that as like a level 2 quality source for me, particularly, right? I've not put too much reliance on that. Gym is one that was very, I wouldn't say it was a rude awakening, but you quickly realize it, like, especially for someone like me who goes early in the morning. Like, I go and the gym opens at 5 a.m. I'm there, right? That's when I work out. I realized people at the gym are very antisocial. And similar to like the work thing, like, I've made friends there. Like, I'll go fist bump some guys. Like, I've got like a couple of guys, like, numbers from there, so we can just like speak and stuff. But again, them at the gym, but once you're not going to speak with people over like WhatsApp that much. I've noticed with guys a lot, so it's not like that, right? We don't like speaking like over WhatsApp. Like, I'm busy, bro. I'm really busy. Like, I'm busy trying to build my life. A lot of people are busy. You don't have time to be sitting on your phone and texting. And I guess the same thing could apply to you, if you're trying to like start dating. Very similarly, like, you get a girl's number and it's like, you're not just gonna be texting all day, all night. Like, maybe you could if like, I don't know if the relationship works that way, but for most people, it's kind of like you need to be in person doing things. Like, when you're in person with people, I've noticed it's so easy to just talk about, oh, what's going on, yada yada yada. But when you're on WhatsApp, like, you're not having those conversations because you're busy, right? But anyways, I've learned about the gym. Gym for me is level 1 quality. Like, it's not great at all for making like your friend group. It's very difficult, in my experience, right? But for me, the one that's been the highest quality in terms of like, and where all my focus is going on, because for gym and work, I've completely like, I haven't scrapped those. They kind of just there. I'm like, if I make friends at gym and work, it's an addition, but my focus has gone to church. Now, church, when I first started, it was not a great source for me. Like, it was not a great source of like friends, because I was going to, so I would go to this church called Rivers, right? Rivers Santon. Massive church, mega church, right? It's big. I think on the Easter services, because they have all these campuses and they have like 3 services or whatever. They had like 46,000 people come through the doors at Rivers, all the campuses. This is the biggest church, so you can just imagine how massive it is. The main auditorium is like 3,000 people, right? So I go to church. When I first started going, I'd go there with my sister, and you literally just go in because you don't know anyone there. You go in, you sit in for the service, and then you leave. How am I gonna make friends from that? And it was really difficult. Like, that for me, I was like, oh, that was a bit like, yo, this is not what I was hoping for. But you quickly realize that that's the thing with like building your social life. You quickly realize how difficult certain things can be and how the approach needs to change. But for me, when it finally changed to like building church as a source of social activity, for me, when that finally changed was when I just started going online, right? I started going online and I started searching for connect groups. Because I learned about this thing. I just go on the church websites and I see things, right? How do you integrate yourself into a church? And there's this thing called connect groups. Now, for people who don't know what connect groups, maybe you might know it as home cells or just groups, small groups, whatever, right? It's basically just, small groups from church meeting at like someone's apartment or at the church or whatever it is. But for me, I just started searching. For like I particularly started searching for young adult connect groups, because obviously I'm looking for people around my age, right? And now at this church, it was difficult at Rivers because they've done this thing. They scrapped the categorized home groups, right? They've scrapped categorizing it from like, oh, young adults, ladies, this and that, to just having integrated. And I understand the concept. It's good for people in certain stages of their lives. It's very good. Like, I've gone to a couple of them and I've learned so much. Like, you get to hear like older people speak with experience, right? It's incredible. But then when you're trying to build fellowship, not so great, right? But I found all these other churches, and this is the advantage of being in a big city. I was telling my one friend this. I was like, bro, you need to move to a big city. And I truly believe, I agree with like Kevin Samuels when he would say that, like, as a young guy, you need to move to like an NFL city, right? A city that's got an NFL stadium, right? Because you need to move to a big city, basically. Because when you move to a big city, there are all these opportunities. There are all these like opportunities for networking and also just for building skills and everything in general. It's incredible. Like, your mind is just opened up to so much. Now, whether that's going to be a thing for like the rest of your life, certainly not for me. I'm a family guy, bro. I need to come to this city, build my skills, build my finances, build my friend groups, find my wife. And once I have all that, I'm moving to a chilled city, bro. I might even move to the farms or something like that. You know, go somewhere completely remote, whatever it is. Like, I'm a family guy, so staying in the city my whole life isn't great. But there's a period, I think, at our stage, like, I'm 22. When you're like this young, it's very important for you to go to a big city, meet lots of people, and understand how things work, right? Like, things like this. And for me, one of the big advantages has been like, there's so many churches here, bro. Like, there quite a lot of like bigger churches, but what I started doing was I was just searching for young adults groups, and I just search for churches with young adults groups, and I'd literally just go, right? I'd go to them, and you meet people there. It's a bit awkward because you know you're first, but when you're going to like connect groups with like young adults, obviously it depends on the church, but they're very welcoming most of the time, and you obviously need to be a social guy yourself. Like, you can't just go there and like not talk to anyone. And again, this is what's incredible about them. Like, even if you are kind of like introverted, you can still go to them and you just keep going consistently. You'll make friends, right? You'll make friends. Like, people are very friendly, right? But for me, what I do is I literally go onto the website. Oh, they have a young adults group. They meet on Wednesdays at this time. Cool. Wednesday, I'm there. I would email the person and I'd be like, okay, I'm coming, and that person kind of becomes my friend. Like they're like my contact, right? So when I go there, I'm like message them, I'm like, I'm here, how do I get in, or whatever it is, and I go and then I meet them and then I talk to them and then I just kind of follow them around, and if they're speaking to someone else, then I join in that conversation. I start meeting people. Or even if it's not like that, there's some places where it's a bit more awkward, where you're kind of left alone. Just walk up to a group of like guys who look like you or who look like chilled. And that's the nice thing about going to like these kind of things, is that they're people who are just like you, right? And they're welcoming, like especially if you look like, you're a young guy just looking for friendship, and people are looking to connect. Now there are some churches and some places just in general where it can be cliquey. I've heard it can be cliquey. But for me, again, this is why you just go to many different things and you just try things out and see what works for you. But most of them have been very good, right? So I'll go there and you just walk up to a group of guys just look like, and you just speak to them. Just like, hi, my name is Gideon. Yeah, how long have you been coming to this church? And then they'll ask you, be like, oh, it's my first time. They're like, oh, it's your first time. Like, what made you come here? And you start speaking. You start building rapport, and then you keep going, right? So for me, I found that was incredible. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Like the whole going out thing with like friends from work and all that. Like it's not for me, because I'm not like connecting. I'm not speaking. Like, look at me, bro. I'm making a YouTube video speaking to you about how to build your life and stuff. Like I love speaking. I love good conversation. So for me, these connect groups were incredible. So I found them, and those have been. I've been going ham on those. Like those have been it's kind of like the principle you learn in like YouTube, business, whatever it is, right? It's like, it's a good principle to learn in life in general, but like when something works, keep going at it, double down on it, triple down on it. For me, that was it. That was me. With the moment I figured out young adults groups, connect groups, I was meeting people like me. I was like, going ham. All the young adults events, I'm there, right? Now, obviously, like, yeah, it's difficult getting to this kind of point, but then you need to list out like like I said at the start, you list out what you're looking for, right? With the places where you're gonna find people who look just like you. Well, not look just like you, people who are like you, like-minded people, right? And then you figure out the quality of their sources. Now, for me, again, like I said, church started as like a level 1, because I go there and I just leave, and it was too big to get integrated. But then eventually I figured it out, and now it's like number 1. It's the thing I go to the most, where I meet like my friends and stuff, and I've built like good foundations again from just going there. Again, with the thing where when you find something that works, double down on it. If you find a connect group, like for me, I found a connect group that I was like, I love the vibes here. I've been made to feel very welcome. People here are just like me. I just keep going. You keep going consistently, because it's one thing to get yourself in, like to find a place where they're like people like you. But now what you realize is you need to build that rapport. You need to build that friendship. And friendships, again, if you think about school, the friendships you build there were simply from just being in the same place all together every day, and you guys would sit next to each other, and you're kind of just in the same proximity. Maybe you play sports together, you have this class together, you guys get to speaking, and you build it over time, and that's how you build friendships. And again, it's another one of those intricacies I was telling you about, right? It's not as simple as like, oh, I met this person at Young Adults Connect today, I got this number, and it's like, oh, now we're best friends. No, you get the person's number, and then you guys just don't speak. Because what are you going to speak about? You're going to be like, oh, what you doing, bro? No, you're busy adults with like things to do. So you go to Connect Group, you talk, and you guys kind of get along. And you're like, oh, awesome. I'll see you on Sunday at church. You go to Sunday, you speak again, and you do that, and you do it over and over again. And again, if you find places you like, you'll build friendships over time, right? And that's how I sort of built my foundation. Now, the third point, I think this is the third point. I go on so many tangents in my videos. I don't know how many points I've been making in this video. But the third like big point is that you need to actually be aggressive. Okay, if this is a number 1 priority in your life, you need to be aggressive about it. Now, I'm gonna speak about like I have a friend, right? Like, so my closest friend from last year when we were studying together, right? He's on self-improvement and everything, and we still speak. Like we call each other like every week if we can. We kind of just speak about our lives. And one thing like I've noticed is like the difference in like my social life and his social life in terms of like, just what we're doing. And for me, the one thing I realized is kind of just priorities, right? For him, like, he's not Christian, so like the church thing isn't going to be working for him. Obviously, he's noticed at gym it's difficult to make friends there. At work, it's also kind of difficult to make friends there. So for him, he had to list out his own things of like potential sources of social activity. And for him, I was like, he loves martial arts and stuff. I was like, go sign up for a martial arts club. And I've been trying to convince him. I'm like, bro, just sign up. Like, for me, it's been so simple, because for me, number 1 priority has been social life, because I've been lonely for so long. Like, for me, I'm like, I need to find my boys. Like, I need to build my social life. So for me, it's been very aggressive. I find a connect group, I'm there, right? I've been going at it. But then for other people, like for him, he's just not been doing it, like for whatever reason. And I understand it because we all have those things where there's the barrier to just doing it. It's just higher, right? Like YouTube videos, for example. Like one of my friends I have in my friend group is like, so making YouTube videos for me simple. I get on the camera, I talk, I upload. It's not too difficult. But when it comes to business, right? Like when I was creating TikToks and Instagram Reels, I was I was blowing up and stuff, and I had to learn to like monetize. Like that took me a while. Like I just had so much friction to doing it. I don't know why. But then him, he's the other way around, right? Like he has a sales job, right? Well, he had a sales job. He had a sales job for like a year, and now he's like quit because not quit. It's kind of like an independent contractor kind of thing. So he kind of just like, okay, I'm done now, right? And now he's doing his own like real estate thing where he kind of does like contractor arbitrage. Like he'll go find a house that like needs to be sold and needs to be like upkept and whatever. He'll get people to like upkeep it and to like renovate it or whatever, and then he'll get someone to buy it, and then he kind of just takes a cut of that. Like that's insane. I could never do that. Real estate, bro. Like just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go find this house, kind of like buy it, get someone else, get someone to buy it, and then take the profits. Like for me, that's difficult. But for him, like filming the YouTube videos is like that's difficult for him because like now there's a higher, for whatever reason, we're just made differently, right? Like he's just got a different like threshold, right? Like for him, making YouTube videos is hard, but business is easy. For me, business is hard, but making YouTube videos is easy. And it's the same thing with my friend that I'm talking about in terms of social life. For whatever reason, yeah, just doing the social things or going online and like finding classes to join and stuff is just difficult, right? And for me, I'm taken to this analogy I heard from Hamza, who heard it from Tate, who heard it from I don't know who, but good analogy, right? He spoke about the hot coals, right? If you were to just find yourself standing on hot coals right now, what would you do? Very quickly, very quickly, you'd be off those coals because they're burning, right? They're literally burning, right? And for some people, the hot coals are in different places in their lives. For me, this year, my voice is cracking. For me this year, right? My hot coals was my social life. I was like, bro, I cannot be lonely. I cannot have no friends. For me, that's where my hot calls were. So for me, it was instant. I still remember, like, for the first, like, couple of weeks, right? Like, on a weekend, if I didn't have a social event on a Saturday, like, I was depressed, bro, because I was like, where's my life going? I have no friends. I'm doing nothing on a Saturday. I'm so sad. And it was, like, because, like, it felt like that for me. I was like, bro, I can't carry on living like this. So for me, the hot calls were my social life. For my friend here, clearly the hot calls aren't there for him in the social life, right? And the hot calls analogy is incredible because what Tate was saying was that you need to move the hot calls in your life to just where you actually want to change, right? Like if Tate or Hamza like woke up and they were making like $10,000 a month, bro, that's hot calls for them. They'd be like, what on earth? I can't. Like for them, they'd be flipping, grinding 18-hour days, whatever it is, relentless, trying to get there, trying to build that business again. Whereas for you, you're not even making 10 grand a month. I'm not making 10 grand a month, and I'm not grinding like that, right? I'm not grinding like that, because the hot calls aren't there, and I'm trying to move the hot calls there. But you get what I mean? Like for some people, it's just different priorities. The hot calls in different places, and for you, if the hot you will know if your social life is something you hold in like high esteem, like for you that is priority, right? The hot calls are there. That means you will be aggressive. You will be like me. You move to a new city, you figure out connect groups, and now every day you're searching like all these churches. You're finding like young adult connect groups you can go to, and you're there. You're trying it, right? Even if it's awkward, like you're going there. You're there, right? No matter what. Even if I have to drive like 30 minutes out to go to this place because as a young adult, I'm there, right? Now, obviously, now I've spoken about the being aggressive, moving the hot calls. That's very important, right? The last point I want to speak about is like something that I've been going through now is that like you need to have an end goal, of course. Like for me, obviously, I started out with an end goal. I want to have a group of like 6 like-minded guys. Like we're a group and we just going through life together. I know what I'm looking for, right? So for me, that's like the end goal. And I remember I was speaking about it with my friends online because I also have an online group, right? And I'm realizing now that these are my boys because we've been speaking on calls basically every week for like a year, right? Again, hot calls. Last year I was busy searching online, like just looking for people to make friends, and I was very aggressive with it. And I met these guys, right? There's 3 of us now. No, there's 4 of us, including me now. I was speaking to. I forgot the point I was trying to make. That's awkward. Oh yeah. So the end goal I want to have. I know the end goal I want to have, right? And I was actually speaking to them, and I was saying that like technically, if this was when it was just three of us, I was like technically we only just need to bring one like-minded friend to this group, and all of a sudden there's six of us, right? But anyways, going back to what I'm saying is that if when you're in this stage of like building your social life, right? It'll get like you'll get stretched. Like for me, I've been getting stretched, and now I'm at a point now where it's kind of like I'm lowering the like I've found like my connect groups that I want to go to like consistently in the churches, and as I've said, I've built kind of the foundations, and I know which churches I kind of want to go to. The ones I'm going to now, I say churches. It's basically just like three churches. And there's like connect group on Wednesdays, connect group on Fridays, and then there's obviously church on Sundays, and I think I'll leave Tuesdays for like doing other church things, like if I can find like whatever, right? But basically, I've kind of got like my routine and then like the main places I want to keep going to. I've got friendships there, and I just want to nurture those, right? You get to a point where you're burnt out, bro. Like for me, I was this past week has been difficult. Like the difficulty has been again in prioritizing, right? Because work obviously takes a whole day because I'm at work 8 hours, and then you think about commuting and all of that. Then I've got social life. I was having social activities basically every day, except for Mondays. Mondays I don't usually have anything, right? So that's already a lot because I'm up, and if I want to do gym, I need to be up at 4, right? And I leave for work at like 7, and then I'm back from work at like 6, and then I need to go to a social event, and I'm back from that at like 10, right? So if I got back at 10 and like I slept like 11 or whatever, and I was able to sleep, maybe I'd skip gym. Like I've been skipping gym. I went like once this week, right? If I skip gym, and I'll be able to get like 7, 8 hours of sleep, 6 or 7, right? But the issue is that I've not been going to sleep. Like when I get home, like I'd go and I'd stop by the McDonald's, I come home and I eat, and then I'm lying in bed, and now I'm on YouTube wasting time, and then it's midnight. Now midnight until like 6. I need to be awake at 6 now. I'm skipping gym now already, and I'm at 6. Bro, I've been dying. Waking up in the morning has been hard, and it's winter now, so it's even harder. Like that burnout, like you do that every day, like you will get burnt out. Now, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm burnt out, but I'm sort of like streamlining now, right? Because once you have an end goal, like for me, I realized, okay, my end goal is I want to have like a group of like 6 like-minded guys, and I realized that my online group, I've already got like 3 like proper like friends, right? That we're getting close, and those are probably going to be like my boys because like we've got like a similar vision and everything, right? And the people I have in real life, again, I've got these connect groups, particularly these 2 connect groups I'm going to be going to consistently every week, right? And I go to the church, and I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep building the friendships, and if I find people, I only need like 2 other guys, right? I can build 2 good friendships from that or from online, whatever it is. But I've just sort of streamlined because now the end goal has been, I know what the end goal is, so you can't keep doing what I was doing forever. You can't be doing that. You'll burn out big time. I'll burn out. Like this week, it was rough. I don't want to have a week like that again. Which is crazy because at the start of the year, I told you about how if a Saturday came and I had nothing to do, I'd be crying. I don't know if I didn't cry, but I was close to crying. I basically would have been crying because I would be so miserable, but I don't cry that much, right? Like, for me, if I had nothing on a Saturday, I was sad because it was like, I've got nothing to do. I'm not doing any social things. Now I've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, too much. I need to scale back and focus on quality. But again, that's your own journey. Obviously, the start is like the most important thing. You'll figure out as you go along. But yeah, I feel like I've gone through a lot in this video. I'm not going to recap. That's too much. But you watched the video. You've watched it all the way to the end. I really appreciate you, bro. If you're still looking for, well, of course you're looking for friends. I have a link in the description below with the Discord where like-minded guys who watch these videos also have a podcast where people watch those videos. Also go to this Discord. So if you want to look for like-minded friends, just join the Discord. You meet like-minded guys there. Make sure you hit subscribe to join the Self Improvement Brotherhood. And until next time, see you boys.